looking forward to hearing what you've got to say, Chris.
Okay. Well, good morning. Welcome to my presentation. This is forming part of my assessment for the Tamdown and Tri-Connex business management degree. Before we begin, you just introduce yourselves and your role in the business.
Yeah. Morning, Chris. Mike Morris, Chairman of the business of the group.
Hi Chris, Mark Wayne. I'm the Group HR Director.
Morning, Richard Hartley, Managing Director of Tri-Connex.
Lovely, thank you very much. We'll just have a quick look at what we're going to look at today. Firstly, what is Tamdown, and then a little bit about who I am, pestle and SWOT analysis of Tamdown, and then how this affects me and my learning going forward. So firstly, Tamdown Group, it's a fast-paced construction company established in 1974, and it's multifaceted. We've got 4 revenue streams. We've got regeneration, infrastructure, the high-rise division, the services division, which is known as Tri-Connex, and the bit that I fall into is mainly the infrastructure division. Tamdown's also a very fast-growing company. Last year we turned over £109 million. First year we've gone through the £100 million barrier, and this year we're projecting we're going to look for 130 million. So we're always looking to expand and do better than we did the year before. Now on to myself. Started Tamdown in 2003 as a junior buyer, and I've worked my way through to a senior estimator. Along that route, I've been part of the sales team and also a bid manager. My role as an estimator is twofold. Firstly, is producing coherent tenders for all of our clients, and secondly, and most importantly, is securing that work as part of the sales team. So that's a little bit about Tamdown and myself and the background. Now we'll move on to the pestle analysis. It's an acronym, and we'll work through that as we go. So P is for political, and what political things affect Tamdown. Firstly would be the Help to Buy scheme and the recent stamp duty reform, which the government has said will be over 98% effective for homeowners and people that are moving house. The reason this helps us is that more people can get a mortgage, the more houses need to be built, which is obviously brilliant for us as we build houses. Adversely, in April 2014, there was the mortgage review, which tightened up lending criteria and the affordability tests. This has an adverse effect on us because less people can get mortgages and less houses need to be built. The last thing there would be the public spending cuts. Since the Conservative government came into power, there's been a lot of cuts to public spending, and they've promised to make more cuts over the next 3 years. Now this affects us because things like schools and hospitals, there's less money to build them. E is for the economic factors. Big one here is the Eurozone crisis, the ongoing crisis, and a big threat at the minute is what's going on in Greece. This has an effect with our interest rates from the Bank of England, which are currently at an all-time low. It's brilliant for people like myself that already have a mortgage, but people that are looking to get a mortgage, it's making them nervous, and again that links back to not many people get mortgages, not as many houses need to be built. S will be for social. First thing here is the age of the workforce. Over 8% of our foremen are in their late 50s to 60s, which is something we need to think about as that's coming up for retirement age. Secondly would be equality. Construction industry is very male-dominated industry. Tamdown are sort of bucking the trend on that, and we do employ females throughout the business and actively look to do that. So that's brilliant for us because the labour resource and the pool we can look to has doubled when you take in everybody. Thirdly, it would be an ethical question, and it purely is a question, not the time to go into today, it's whether we should be building on greenbelt land and potentially ruining the environment. So not for today to discuss, but something we should maybe be thinking about on an ethical level. T is for technology. Now Tamdown do use a lot of great technology. Personally, we've got the estimating system and things like QSCAD and AutoCAD we do a lot of our work on. However, we are still reliant on paper drawings in the office and out on site. Part of a little side project I'm looking into now in the estimating department is whether we can start doing some more of our measurements on computer systems, either new or existing, whether that speeds up the process. Just as another example for technology there would be the timesheets and the way that works. Currently, all our guys on site manually fill out timesheets. Form will drive that to the office on a Friday, give it to our payroll team, who will manually input that before we pay. it's something we need to look at, and whether there's a better way that we can work to save some time. L would be for legal. In the construction industry, health and safety is paramount to everything we do, and there's obviously a lot of legal stuff around that. Tamdown take that very, very seriously. We've got a dedicated team of people that look after our health and safety, make sure we're fully compliant and are the best in the industry. Secondly would be the Environment Agency. We do a lot of muck movement and a lot of waste goes everywhere, and there's obviously a lot of legal things that go with that. Things like our waste carriers licences, make sure we're paying the right landfill tax. And again, we've got teams of people that look after that in our technical team and our buyers, just to make sure we are fully compliant at all times. Lastly would be ESOS, or the Energy Saving Opportunity Scheme, which Tamdown has signed up to. This basically, we've got to measure our energy usage in the office and on site and prove that we are trying to reduce this on a year-by-year basis, which leads me nicely on to environmental, which is basically about going green. And when the recession hit, Tamdown, along with probably every other construction industry, went into survival mode, if you like. And being green was probably at the back of everyone's head. It wasn't seen as very important. Now we're coming out, the shoots have started to see, the company's back on. Going green is important for our clients, and measuring carbon footprints is something we're working with them on, looking at our waste streams, how much stuff goes to landfill, and it's something that is very important to Tamdown. So that's the pestle analysis. Now we'll move on to the SWOT analysis of Tamdown. Again, another acronym, just 4 letters this time. Firstly, the strength. Number one strength of Tamdown is our reputation. Reputation is everything in this business, and you win a lot of repeat work through reputation. Done some investigation, nothing scientific, but spoken to our existing clients, and Tamdown are coming out as number one for our health and safety record and the end product that we deliver, which is brilliant news. Secondly, the last two are sort of linked together, financial stability and size. It's not uncommon now for tenders to come in 11, 12, 13 million pounds. A company like Tamdown with the right size to resource this, and also got the right financial stability to finance these jobs, and that's something that a lot of our competition simply cannot offer. On to potential weaknesses of Tamdown. First would be our head office. We've got one office which is located in Braintree, and we work across the whole of the South East region, and we're looking to expand. Especially when we've got jobs on the other side, the west of the M25. Is the head office one location in Braintree good enough to manage that? And the second, as a question for our high-rise team, who do a lot of their work in London, is whether a London address would be more prestigious and help win more work with our London clients. The second part of the head office potential weakness is the sites. Here at One Tamdown Way, we're pretty much at capacity. As we're looking to expand the business, we're going to need more staff to do that, and trying to fit them into this building is potentially going to be a problem going forward. Second weakness is skilled staff, and this is not a weakness specifically to Tamdown, but across the construction industry. Once the recession hit, a lot of people moved away from the construction industry. Now everybody's getting busy again, finding the skilled staff and making sure we've got the right guys on site and in the office and everywhere is potentially going to be a problem for us, and a potential weakness for us to expand. Because that potentially got the wrong people would affect our reputation again. Lastly, the staff retention. Now with Tamdown, you work here for life or you work here for 3 months. It's brilliant that we get rid of the people, or not get rid of them, it sounds wrong, but the people that aren't fitting in do go quite quickly, but it's a question of why were they employed to start with. On to the opportunities. It's a growing market out there, everything's coming back, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We're in the right position to go and secure a market share of that work. So there's a lot of work out there for us to get, which is obviously going to help us expand. Secondly would be attracting new talent. This goes back to our reputation. Very prestigious company, people want to work for Tamdown. So attracting talent from external sources is slightly easier for us than other people. People want to work with Tamdown. And lastly was our attitude towards nurturing existing talent within Tamdown. It's brilliant. The amount of time and effort that goes into developing our staff is amazing, and is setting us up for the future. On to threats. It's a volatile market. Labour, plant materials seem to be going up on a day-by-day basis. Last week I read in the Metro that bricklayers in London have been paid over £1,000 a week, which is simply unheard of. How does this affect Tamdown? Now, a lot of our clients are asking for a sort of lump sum all risk price fixed for the duration of the contract. Tamdown are very, very sensible when it comes to taking on the risk, what we can take on, what we can't. We have a good view and sort of forward thinking. So financially, this is not a threat to Tamdown. The threat comes that a lot of our competition don't view the market as we do. We see this as commercial suicide. Unfortunately, some of our clients see it as an opportunity too good to miss, and we are losing work because of it. Secondly, we go back to the skilled staff. We touched on earlier that a lot of our guys on site are getting older, and also as we expand, there's just not the right people down. So a threat there that we expand, get the wrong people, and break our reputation, which we cannot do. And the last threat to Tamdown is to stand still. We are good at what we do, arguably in my eyes probably one of the best at what we do. But if we stand still and get complacent, then other people will be soon overtaking us and we won't be the best anymore. Okay, so that was the SWOT analysis. Now we look at how this affects me. Firstly, we've got the learning and development. Tamdown's attitude to learn and development is brilliant, and there's always opportunities to learn and develop yourself. That's always been the case. When I started in 2003, went for an HNC in civil engineering, and since then I've been learning on a day-by-day basis. The management team have always got time, so there's a lot of experience-based learning in the office, which is brilliant. We also go through lots of training courses. The most notable for myself would be 7B and Dermot Collins. I'm sure you agree he's quite a character to work with and give me some great experience. And then obviously you've got this degree course, which is a brilliant opportunity for me to grow and it comes my skills. Secondly would be responsibilities. In September of this year, I've got a lot more responsibility in the estimating team. Now responsible for one of the graduates in there. Part of my role is to review her work and develop her. Also part of my PMF, recent PMF, to set ourselves targets. I've got a target to get her to produce 3 tenders unaided within the next 6 months. So that's a nice smart goal for me to work to. It gives me something to focus on. And lastly would be the expansion, potential promotion. Tamdown do like to promote from within. Board of directors will work their way from the bottom to the top. And as Tamdown get bigger, hopefully there'll be room for promotion for myself, which is nice, gives me a nice clear vision of my future. So that's how it all fits into me. Before I finish this presentation, just like to say I've done a lot of research and spoke to a lot of people to get more information. Just want to say a special thanks to the management team for the ongoing support, the people that invented the intranet, and that's an invaluable resource. A special thanks to Mark Wayne for your help with PowerPoint, then to Matt Weeks and Rob Kendall for the help with the figures and an insight into the business plan. Thank you guys for listening. Has anybody got any questions?
Well done, Chris.
Fantastic,
Good stuff. That was fantastic. Who was your main mentor, Chris?
Mark is my mentor.
Mark Wayne, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you've done a great job there, Mark. I think the preparation has come through. You put a lot of prep into that, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of
And a presentation.
Yes.
Yeah, that comes through. For me, I love this suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, I know it might sound like quite a shallow thing as open comment, but that's how I want to see you dressed all the time.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I'll tell you for why. When we come up with the idea of this course, and we've been knocking it around for quite a while, and when we eventually got our act together in the last year or so, in my mind, you were the perfect candidate for this degree. You know, someone who's bright as a button, didn't have the opportunity first time around for whatever reason, and definitely deserved and earned the right to do this. And alongside you doing this degree and what that will stand for when you get it, and all the learning that will go with it, it's about building your professionalism, your profile as well, Chris.
Yes.
You know, and the way you've spoke today, how articulate you are, how well you presented, and your presentation in terms of how you look, for me, that's a step up from you. Sort of step up that I've always kind of had half an eye on.
Okay.
So for me, you know, it's a real tangible. So yeah, I'd like to, every time I see you, I'd like to see you wearing a shirt and tie and suit. I'd like to see more people do that around the office, to be fair, but it's not something I want to get heavy on.
Okay.
But for those that do it, I think they get noticed, you know,
Yeah.
as being professional. So that would be my first comment. The second comment, I think you made some really intelligent insights observations in the business, some a little bit controversial, you know, some less so but equally interesting. The project on the measurement in terms of how we can do that in a more digital, more efficient way.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with something that perhaps you can build into your degree.
Okay.
As a piece of work. You mentioned reputation, and I think we are up there on reputation, and we'll be top 3 in most categories, number 1 in some.
Yeah.
On infrastructure, we're top 3, but I think there's a big gap between us and Brahini, and I don't think as an organisation we're doing enough about that.
Yeah.
We're doing a bit of talking about it, and it's something I bang the drum on, and people nod, and then I don't really see much
There's
response.
no action.
No action. And I think that as a potential project for you could be a very interesting piece of work, but could be something that could reverberate around the team.
Okay.
And I think it's going to actually take someone like you, who's young and energetic, to get through to some of the people that are a bit more established on this one. So I'd ask you to think about that.
Okay.
In terms of expanding the business, we haven't got any plans to do that geographically.
Yeah.
For various reasons that we won't go into today, but I'll go through with you another day. But One Tamdown Way is going to be converted to all office starting in May. So by the end of 2015, these things take time, planning and construction. But One Tamdown Way will be all office, no workshops. That will double the size of this workspace. So that means we can also have sort of fun areas and canteen and you know, ping pong, pool table, those kind of things as well, which I think are important. And just to wrap up, I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you very much.
I think you've really done well there, Chris. I'm just proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I just thank you for being honest with your personal views? I think that was very important.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Know more about you now. Well done.
Yeah.